Osmoregulation is the regulation of fluids and solutes in the body of the organism within an acceptable range. It is one of the many facets of homeostasis, internal balance. Now, osmoregulation sounds a lot like the word osmosis. In fact, it involves osmosis. So a very quick review, of osmosis. Now, osmosis is the diffusion of water across a selectively permeable membrane. And this will happen if you have different concentrations of solute across the membrane. So for example, you have this solution, which may be a 1% salt solution versus 3% here. You've got a concentration gradient of salt, but it doesn't matter if the membrane is not permeable to salt. But if the membrane is permeable to water, then it's the concentration of water that we concern ourselves with. So if this is 1% salt, it is 99% water. If this is 3% salt, it is 97% water. We have a concentration gradient of water. It will diffuse accordingly across the membrane. The direction of osmosis will head toward the side that has the more solute. Water follows salt is a quick, easy way to remember this. But remember the terms: hypotonic, hypertonic. A hypertonic solution has more solutes than another. A hypotonic solution has less solutes than another. If the salt concentration or solute concentration is the same, then they are both referred to as isotonic. Now, so organisms have to deal with this. Now, how they deal with it really depends on the type of organism and where they're found. Osmoregulation in the ocean. Seawater is about 35 parts per thousand salt, or 3.5%. Most marine invertebrates are osmoconformers. They basically match the seawater. Their solutes are isotonic with the seawater. They don't have to worry about gaining or losing water by osmosis. But that is not true for most marine vertebrates. The body fluids of most vertebrates in the ocean are lower than that of the surrounding environment, which means the surrounding environment is hypertonic. So they are going to tend to lose water, especially fish, through their gills. It's unavoidable. So the only way to get water back is to drink the water, but the water's salty. So they have to drink the seawater, and then they have to excrete the salts in an accelerated way. Now, different animals do this in different ways. Fish can use concentrated urine. They can also use their gill epithelia, sea turtles with their tear glands, and so forth. Freshwater is the opposite situation. Pretty much everything living in a freshwater environment is living in a hypotonic environment. And pretty much any organism without a cell wall is going to gain water by osmosis. Now, of course, protozoans will use contractile vacuoles to pump out water on a regular basis. But a freshwater fish would, of course, absorb the water through their gills. They can't avoid it, so they got to get rid of the excess water through their dilute urine, and they have to conserve their salts, and they're also capable of using their gill epithelia to actively pump trace salts from the surrounding water back into their system, and any salts they would obtain from their food. Land, however, is a dehydrating environment, and for osmoregulation on land, the water losses have to be matched with the water gains. Now, for ourselves, the main ways that water is lost are these things. We lose water in perspiration and sweat. We lose water with respiration, breathing, because our lungs are moist. Feces loses some water, and of course, urine. Now, your kidneys control your urine concentration, and we'll discuss that in another video. So the water gain has to match the water loss. Of course, the number one way we get fluids is to drink them. Of course, there are also fluids in the foods, and some fluids are produced through chemical reactions, and we call that metabolic water. Read through the notes to get more information on this.